Wemmbu will betray CinderCrest in the Civil War, and I found proof. From joining the organization that massacred 990 players at Sky Mall to helping them cut off 80% of Parrot's food supply, Wemmbu seems fully committed to CinderCrest's cause. But after analyzing his latest video and comparing it to his history, this is why Wemmbu will betray CinderCrest, and exactly how it's gonna happen. Let me start with the main evidence, and when you understand this, you'll realize Wembu's betrayal is inevitable. Wemmbu didn't seek out CinderCrest, they came to him. He was approached after they saw his elbow strike capability and his combat skills alongside FlameFrags. When describing how he joined, Wembu's tone suggests reluctance. He talks about CinderCrest like it's a job he was hired for, not a cause he believes in. He never once mentions agreeing with your philosophy about old players versus new players. Compare this to Shoe Billy, who openly states he believes only the strong deserve to survive, and feels no remorse for killing 990 players. Or Saparata, who lost all his friends because of Parrot opening spawn, and is driven by personal revenge. Wemmbu has no personal stake in this war. He's not an old player who suffered. He's not someone who hates new players, he's just there. Keep this lack of commitment in mind because it's the foundation for everything else. Now let's talk about Wembu's history with Parrot, because their relationship reveals why this betrayal is coming. They were friends who fought wars together. Wemmbu helped Parrot against Boostful's treasure hunters. They worked together to build things, they had mutual respect. But here's the critical detail. When Wemmbu mentions Parrot during the high water battle, he says, "We haven't talked to each other in a while. Not we are enemies now, not he betrayed me, just they haven't talked." This suggests their split wasn't personal. There's no deep grudge, no burning hatred, just distance, and distance can be close. Just like you closing that subscribe button. Holy crap, that was a clean plug. But anyways, remember this absence of hatred because it becomes critical when we analyze what happens next. Here's where the evidence gets undeniable. At Highwater City, Youngie Axe specifically told Wemmbu to kill Parrot. This was a direct order during the battle. Parrot was running away with Reina and Teo trying to escape after realizing they'd lost. Wemmbu had his elbow strike cannon, he had Elytra, he had the perfect opportunity to end Parrot right there and secure total victory for CinderCrest. But Wemmbu didn't kill him. The video shows Wemmbu and Arachnid arriving at Highwater City. The elbow strikes hit the city, Parrot's forces scattered, but there's no footage of Wemmbu actively hunting Parrot down. Parrot, Teo, and Reina all escaped alive. If Wemmbu was truly committed to CinderCrest, killing Parrot would have been his top priority. Parrot is the king, he's the symbol of the new player movement. His death would have ended the war instantly, but Wemmbu let him go. This could be explained as chaos of battle, or maybe he just didn't see Parrot in time, but combined with everything else, it looks more like deliberate hesitation. Let's examine Wembu's relationship with Achan, because this is where the betrayal becomes inevitable. Throughout the video, Wemmbu repeatedly mentions Achan even though Ake isn't in CinderCrest and isn't part of the high water battle. Achan is described as a pacifist, someone who hates violence, someone who is liked by most players on the server, and Wembu's most trusted friend. Achan's entire personality contradicts everything CinderCrest stands for. CinderCrest kills new players, but Achan wants peace. CinderCrest believes only the strong survive, but Achan is unskilled and unserious. CinderCrest massacred 990 people at Sky Mall, but Achan doesn't want to kill anyone. If Achan knew what Wemmbu was doing with CinderCrest, he would be horrified. In the video when Wemmbu talks about the elbow strikes hitting Highwater City, there's a brief moment where he mentions thinking about what Ake would say. This suggests Wemmbu knows Achan wouldn't approve, and Wemmbu has always prioritized Achan's opinion over everything else. When they disagreed about trusting manepear during the Zam Empire arc, Wemmbu listened to Ake. When Ake was captured by the Mafia, Wemmbu gave up his mace to save him. Wemmbu values Achan's friendship more than any alliance, and Achan would never support genocide against new players. Now we need to examine the pattern, because Wemmbu always switches sides. During the Zam Empire, Wemmbu started as Prince Zam's ally. When Zam betrayed him, destroyed his colony, and said he was too weak to even kill properly, Wemmbu eventually got revenge by destroying the entire Zam empire with his orbital strike cannon. He turned on someone who wronged him and obliterated everything they built. The pattern is clear. Wemmbu joins groups when it benefits him. Wemmbu stays loyal to people who respect him like Achan and sometimes Flame, but Wemmbu betrays groups the moment they go against his values or treat him wrong. Keep this pattern in mind because CinderCrest will inevitably cross that line. Here's why CinderCrest will cross that line. Saparata's final speech at Highwater City made CinderCrest's endgame crystal clear. We are building a world big enough for the people who deserve it. This means mass starvation of new players, tens of thousands of deaths, genocide of everyone who joined after Parrot opened spawn. And when CinderCrest starts executing surrendered players, when they start systematically starving children to death, when they massacre defenseless civilians, Wemmbu will remember Achan's philosophy. Achan used to say wars can only produce more wars. He advocated for peace first. He didn't like lying to people. He wanted to protect the snow civilization from the mafia instead of using them for training. Achan represents Wembu's conscience, and that conscience will reject genocide. There's a conversation between Wemmbu and FlameFrags that reveals both of them are questioning this. When asked why he joined, FlameFrags said it's because of lomedy. Lomedy believes Parrot becoming king is horrible. People are starving, bandits are killing everyone. The kingdom is unsafe. FlameFrags says lomedy has his beliefs. Not lomedy is right, not I agree with him, just lomedy has beliefs, and that's why Flame is here. FlameFrags himself isn't fully convinced. He's there because his friend Lomedy is there, and if FlameFrags, a combat master who fought in countless wars, is this uncertain, how can Wemmbu possibly be more committed than Flame? Remember FlameFrags' uncertainty because if Flame turns against CinderCrest, Wemmbu will follow. So what will make Wemmbu betray? There are 4 scenarios and at least one is guaranteed to happen. Scenario 1. CinderCrest targets Achan. If CinderCrest discovers Achan is helping new players or opposing them in any way, they'll try to kill him. He's unskilled, he's a pacifist, and he's vulnerable. The moment CinderCrest threatens Achan, Wemmbu will obliterate them. Remember Wemmbu gave up his mace to save Egg from the mafia. He'd give up anything for his best friend, and CinderCrest is expendable compared to Achan. Scenario 2. The massacre goes too far. Saparata plans to starve Parrot's kingdom, where tens of thousands of new players will die slowly. Innocent people who just wanted to play Minecraft will die for being born at the wrong time. When Wemmbu sees that, he'll remember Achan's words that wars can only produce more wars. Scenario 3. FlameFrags changes his mind. In Wembu's video, FlameFrags is already showing doubt. When Parrot confronted him and Lomedy, FlameFrags listened. When Lomedy accused Parrot of letting people starve, Flame asked if it was really true. Flame isn't blindly loyal to CinderCrest, he's there for Lomedy, but he's also someone who values strength and honor in combat. If FlameFrags turns against CinderCrest, Wemmbu will follow, because their bond is stronger than any alliance with Saparata. Scenario 4. Parrot convinces Wemmbu directly. Wemmbu and Parrot haven't talked in a while, but that's not the same as being enemies. If Parrot reaches out to Wemmbu privately, not as king to subject, but as friend to friend, and shows him what CinderCrest is really doing, Wemmbu might switch sides without hesitation, especially if Parrot frames it as help me stop the people who are about to commit genocide. Wemmbu has always responded to direct honest appeals, and this would be the clearest one possible. Let me walk through exactly how the betrayal will happen because the timeline is predictable based on CinderCrest's strategy. Phase 1 is the march on spawn happening soon, where CinderCrest gathers thousands of max netherite players and marches towards spawn to lock it down. Wemmbu provides orbital strike support and fights along CinderCrest. Betrayal likelihood is low because he's still committed at this stage. Phase 2 is the starvation beginning weeks later. After controlling Highwater City and cutting off food, Parrot's kingdom starts starving. Players begin dying from hunger. Civilians beg for mercy. CinderCrest refuses to provide food and watches people die. Wemmbu witnesses the suffering firsthand. Betrayal likelihood is medium because his conscience starts breaking. Phase 3 is the execution order, which is the breaking point. Saparata orders mass executions of surrendered players, not just starvation but active killing of defenseless people who gave up. CinderCrest starts executing new players and Wemmbu is ordered to participate or stand by. Betrayal likelihood is high because this violates everything Achan stands for. Phase 4 is the betrayal, which is inevitable. Wemmbu reaches his breaking point when either CinderCrest directly threatens Achan or the massacres become too horrific, or FlameFrags turns against them, or Parrot appeals to their old friendship. Wemmbu uses his Orbital Strike Cannon on CinderCrest, targeting the giant airship, which is their mobile command center with Saparata and Shubili aboard. The result is total devastation of CinderCrest's leadership. Here's exactly how the final betrayal scene will play out. CinderCrest corners Parrot at the Northern Council in the final battle for control of Spawn. Thousands of CinderCrest soldiers versus Parrot's depleted forces, with victory seeming certain for CinderCrest. Saparata orders Wemmbu to Orbital Strike the Northern Council, which would kill Parrot, Teal, and everyone else. Defending Spawn. Wemmbu hesitates. Then one of three things happens. Either Achan appears defending new players and Saparata orders his death, or civilians including children and unarmed players are being executed and Wemmbu is told to watch, or FlameFrags refuses the order and Saparata threatens to kill Flame too. Wemmbu turns his Orbital Strike Cannon 180 degrees, targets a CinderCrest airship instead of the Northern Council and says one line: Egg was right, wars only produce more wars and this war ends now. He fires the cannon. CinderCrest's leadership is destroyed. Saparata and Shubili are killed in the strike. FlameFrags survives because he's not like most players. CinderCrest's army scatters without leadership and Wemmbu and FlameFrags team up with Parrot. The war ends not with Parrot's victory or CinderCrest's victory, but with Wemmbu choosing peace over genocide. In a previous video, Wemmbu said something that defines his entire character: I don't fight for power, I fight for the people I care about. Ask yourself these questions: does Wemmbu care about Saparata? No. Does Wemmbu care about CinderCrest's ideology? No. Does Wemmbu care about old players versus new players? No. But does Wemmbu care about Achan? Yes. Does Wemmbu care about doing the right thing when it matters? Yes. Does Wemmbu care about stopping people who hurt innocents? Yes. When CinderCrest crosses the line from war into massacre, Wemmbu will remember who he really is. Wemmbu joins CinderCrest to protect Achan, not moral reasons. He has no grudge against Parrot, no commitment to CinderCrest's philosophy, a best friend who would oppose genocide, a history of betraying groups that violate his values, and already shown mercy by not killing Parrot when ordered. The betrayal isn't a question of if, it's a question of when. And based on CinderCrest's trajectory, that when is coming very soon. Saparata thinks he has the server's strongest player on his side, but he doesn't have Wemmbu. He has Wembu's Orbital Strike Cannon, and the moment CinderCrest threatens Achan, massacres innocents, or crosses the line from war into genocide, that cannon will turn around. Wemmbu will betray CinderCrest, and when he does, it won't be for Parrot. It won't be for new players, it will be because Achan taught him that wars only produce more wars, and the only way to end this war is to destroy the people trying to commit genocide. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments if you think this betrayal will happen. And if you want to see more Unstable SMP videos, check out the video on screen.